Morning, Matt.
Good morning. All right, 6:30, Friday, December 2nd. Last couple weeks of 2022. Can't believe it. So this week's code of conduct is to speak and act supportively of ECI as a company and of our workers. Any words of wisdom on this code item, Mr. Dow?
Supportively. I didn't remember this was going to be the one, but that's good. Supportive. A good thing about this one is just think about what does it mean to be supportive? A lot of our work involves setting goals, good planning and solutions. To be supportive of someone isn't always telling them what they want to hear, and it isn't always pretty. Try to do it discreetly, not be negative to other people in the wrong forum, but be able to communicate in a caring way, sympathetic, reassuring, and with the solutions to any problem or issue. That's part about what it is to be a team. And I think I've seen a lot of people here lately that are really committed to the success of ECI and to speak and act supportively of the company and others in a positive way has been one of the things that's got us in a really good place this year. So good code item. So thanks, Matt.
You're welcome. Thank you. So 166 days without a recordable over the last week. We did have quite an uptick after the holiday weekend. It was a very busy week for health and safety, quite a bit of incidents. So let's really hone in and really think of that mindset of let's really think before we do. Let's have really, jumping in those good safety systems, such as starting the day off with a good JHA, with good communication, and not taking unnecessary risks. I think that's some of the things that we've seen this week is perhaps taking on some necessary risks to try to get a job done, try to beat the weather, whatever it may be. But let's really just focus over the next definitely day by day, minute by minute, really focus on our task at hand and work together. And if you need something, pick up the phone, even call health and safety, whatever it is, we're here to help. But let's just try to remember those basic behaviors of not taking on unnecessary risk, putting yourself in danger or doing something that puts your kind of body in danger. For the company. So with that said, I'm going to pass it over to Austin with cold stress as the winter is here and we're going to continue to try to work through the winter. So we need to focus in on how to do that safely and what are the signs and symptoms of cold stress.
All right. So cold stress, it's getting that time of year where it's getting cold out. I've noticed, going out there some days you leave here like, oh, it's not bad, and then you get a job and it's pretty cold out there. So one of the things we all have probably had and should definitely look out for is frostbite. We've all had pretty basic frostbite where your skin gets a little cold and a little reduced sensitivity and a little whitening. But it can get more severe with blistering, and the skin can actually die and cause a lot of health issues for you. Some treatment, wrap the area in a soft cloth and move the worker to a warm area. You don't want to warm it up quickly. You want it to just warm up with the room temperature. Try not to put pressure on it or rub the area. Your skin has been damaged, so when you heat it up quickly and stuff, it can damage it further. Same with putting pressure on it or rubbing it. So we need to look out for that. Just be conscious. If your hands, feet are getting cold, then try and get them somewhere where they warm up. Then we have the hypothermia. That's another issue that we run into. Some mild symptoms are, you're starting to get cold. You're starting to get cold. You're not feeling too warm. You need to have put some more layers on, warm up a little, get somewhere where you can warm up a bit. And some symptoms of mild hypothermia are unclear speech, tiredness, memory loss. You're lacking that good judgment doing things. Your body temperature is beginning to drop. You have a faster heart rate. Your breathing is increased. You have pale, dry skin. You're hungry. And you're starting to get a little. Your body's getting tight, and your muscle tone has increased. And when it gets little worse, you start to get shivers and things like that. And this can become really dangerous. So if it's really bad, you need to contact 911 or seek medical help. Some remedies are to handle the person gently. Have them lay down. Don't stand up. Don't walk for around 30 minutes. Get them warm. Put blankets on them. Apply some heat. Very moderate heat. Not a lot of heat to warm up quickly. You want to warm the body up gradually. And with mild hypothermia, give them food and drink. Usually, something a little warmer, whatnot. And monitor until they improve. Severe is, check to see. They can be unconscious. They can be not breathing. Severe hypothermia is very dangerous, and you need to seek medical help immediately. Wind chill. This is one thing that comes into play a lot. I've noticed here, I leave the office and it's not too windy. It's not bad. It's pretty warm out. And you get out there and, that wind is blowing a little bit, and it can really cut through you and make you real cold quickly. And, we have wind chill chart here that shows, like, with the increased wind, the temperature will feel like it drops. And, we can help you out if you want something like this or need something like this. Just to check it, we have it. It's everywhere online. It's pretty easy to find. This is new. All right. Cold sun prevention. Need to recognize the signs and symptoms. Try to avoid caffeine. Don't drink a ton of coffee throughout the day. Try to avoid alcoholic beverages at night. Getting dehydrated can really up your chances of getting hypothermia. The type of fabric you wear also makes a difference. What I was taught was cotton kills. It loses most of the insulation value when it gets wet. So you want to wear something, made of wool or synthetic material, something that retains heat better if it gets wet. Because throughout the day you're gonna sweat. You might not. It might not be raining or anything like that, but working, you'll start to sweat slowly through those layers, and if you're wearing cotton, you'll start to get colder quicker. Wear more layers, so it's easy to, take off layers if you're warm, but it's really hard to find more if you don't have them, if you're cold. So you want to wear an outer layer that breaks the wind, the rain, something Gore-Tex, the nylon. Middle layer of kind of something wool and something wool synthetic to absorb any sweat or anything that accumulates on you throughout the day, and the inner layer of cotton or synthetic. I said cotton kills, but if it's that inner layer tight against your body, it's good to allow you to have a little ventilation and stuff like that. I also wear a hat or skull cap under your hard hat because a lot of your body heat is lost through your head. And wear insulated boots. Make sure you have wool or synthetic fiber socks on. Cotton socks, your feet sweat a lot and your feet will get cold very quickly. Also, keep a dry change of clothes with you if you can. Wear looser clothing to allow for ventilation and gives your body a little more space to hold that insulation in. Drink plenty of liquids. Take breaks and consume warm beverages if you can. Eat warm food. Things like pasta, high calorie food, will help you maintain energy better. And use the buddy system. Look out for the people around you. That's all I really have.
So Austin, one thing about wool is it's about insulation, and wind chill increases the rate of heat transfer out of your body. And when you have cotton and it gets wet, it doesn't trap much air in the fibers, but wool traps air in the fibers, which is a better insulator from the wind and from the elements. So it's about insulation of the fabric that you wear. So that's why wool is a good thing. It's like a natural thing that was created by nature to insulate.
Well, thanks, Austin. Take it away, Ken.
Yep. There we go. Yeah,
Take
thanks,
it away.
Austin. You guys see the screen?
We got it.
Yeah.
Hey, one quick thing I know that I've seen the guys do, which is pretty good for if you have the situation that works for you, is having spare boots in a boot dryer.
Oh yeah.
So then you can have your boots warming up, and then during break time at lunchtime, say, change out the warmer boots and put your colder boots on the heater. But obviously you need an indoor space with power to do that. But great idea.
Mm-hmm.
So let's see here. Skip down. Okay, announcements. Look for another 401k notice coming by regular mail. Check with Ursula if you have any questions. And the wellness plan here, we should certainly, actually, Ben and I have a meeting coming up in a couple weeks with Beth Chiller to talk about the plan and to get everybody, involved and motivated to join if you're not already joined. I brought back the upcoming weather forecast because I kind of dropped it off here a month ago or so when we had so many things to put on the email and the agenda. But I got it back here and talking about cold weather and cold stress seem to be the right time. You see, we do have some cooler days and well below freezing nights for the foreseeable future for the most part. This week, we're talking about the Hungerford Terrace excavation slope stabilization project in Burlington. And we're contracted with this Green Castle Group there, the developer, for the structural concrete foundations and slabs. But prior to start of our work, we made a site visit and became aware of excessively steep side slopes of the open cut excavation. And we subsequently notified the owner that we wouldn't be able to start our work until the conditions are stabilized to allow for safe access and OSHA compliance. Greencastle then contracted with ECI to design and construct an excavation slope stabilization system. And our project, the project itself involves a multi-unit apartment complex with parking beneath. The soils at the site consisted of a fill containing ash and cinders. Unfortunately, the groundwater, or fortunately, the groundwater level was at or below the excavation, so it didn't really impact the excavation slopes. Our first task was to measure the actual slope conditions, which we did with our drone using photogrammetry, and the survey indicated the 14 high foot slopes had a horizontal length of about 5 foot to 9 feet for a slope length. So 14 foot high and places only 5 foot horizontal. So it's almost the opposite of what you want for an OSHA compliance. Of course, OSHA compliant slope would be 1.5 to 1 for a fill material. And we definitely have a fill because we have ash. So we then designed a soil nail and shotcrete stabilization directly on that existing slope. We applied a first initial 3-inch thick layer of fiber reinforced shotcrete, and that was installed over the entire area of the steep slopes to provide a rigid face for us to work near. We then drilled the soil nails and added wire mesh and number 4 whalers, which was topped off with a 3-inch thick layer of regular shotcrete. We also needed to widen the access ramp for equipment, materials, and general access. The excavation contractor left only about 7 foot of width along the ramp, which was also had excessively steep side slopes. So we filled the area and drove sheet piles in this section and braced it with soil nails and to fatten out the slope to about 13 feet, which was all that was really available. So from this picture, you can see this is along looking towards Hungerford Terrace. So that Hungerford Terrace is right off from Pearl Street in Burlington, down near where the old mobile station was. That's now abandoned and closed down. So it's right behind, that's a site right behind that corner. And you can see how steep these slopes were. They hired a piling contractor to come in and drill some piles who worked down in those conditions, which obviously they should have objected to. That was before we were involved. And then you see this is also looking at 9 degrees from that view, looking kind of in the direction towards the south, in the direction of the street. And there's a house up top there too. So there's a house, very steep excavation near a house, all the wrong things to do. And then the ramp is at the far side here, the far end. You can see it ramps down. There's retaining wall restricting access too for a property line that supports the earth on the other property. And scroll down here. This view shows the ramp coming into view. So there's the ramp. You can see how, just stop it here from scrolling. There we go. You can see how narrow that ramp is, especially in the midsection there. That's only like 7 foot of width. It's like, I don't know what good that is other than a mini excavator. The house is behind there where the ladder is. They protected it. The owner protected it with some poly because of potential for erosion on such a steep slope. We often protect our slopes if they're right, even right at the, the legal limit. We'll want to make sure they're protected from erosion, because once it erodes, it can just unravel and cause a huge problem. So they did that at our advice. And you see, we also have kind of limited room there because the piles in the foundation, the new work will be pretty tight to that ramp. I can get down to the next, there we go. So we did our drone survey. This is an aerial view. So Hungerford Terrace is on the right. There's a house on both sides of the excavation, and then the ramp is on the bottom of the slide there. Pretty compact little site. So then we did the drone flight. There's a drone on the floor next to Richard, and then he's using the computer software that brings together, stitches together all the images, and then the photogrammetry. What it does is it takes different images and uses the computer analysis to calculate the elevation of individual points, like millions of points, so that you have topography information. You have a ground surface model to work from. And then you can cut cross sections like you see on the screen there. There's a section that was printed out. I put on there where that house was. That vertical line on the right there against the house, there was no earth there. But it shows that there was a little wedge of soil and then a steep bank right there. We might have confirmed a little bit in the field by drilling where that foundation was of the house, but it wasn't really obvious. We know where the basement was, but not where the bottom of the footings were. And this is an exaggerated scale, so, but it was kind of that level of steepness. I mean, it was literally 5 feet from the bottom to the edge of the building, and to the top it was like 14 feet where that earth starts. I think that's more like, well, it's 14 feet right to there, right to where it comes back to the building, over 5 foot distance. So we obviously don't ever want to do that ourselves. So this was our plan, is to go in there, and I show the house here in a foundation. We didn't really know where it was. We depth unknown, had to adjust the soil angle to clear soil nail angle. So we shot this base layer, 3-inch base layer of shotcrete, the entire height of the wall, all the way around, not just in front of the house, but all the way around the site. That allowed us to feel more comfortable about going into the steep slope, and also it would have revealed problems. If there was any movement, it would have been cracking, and we would have had to, the opportunity to address it and, be in a safer position. But we got the soil nails in after that, and then we put the mesh on there, and then shot the final layer on top of the reinforcing mesh and rebar. And there's a detail down here. So that shows the close-up at a soil nail. We had the base, we had the reinforcement, and the soil nail at the top, going through the top layer with the base plate, and then the shotcrete on the final 3-inch lift. So the first step, like I said, was to get access, because they didn't give us enough room to get in. So we placed fill out there, fattened it out, and of course that fill now spilled over the footings, the footing area and the piles. So we had to drive the sheets in there and excavate that earth away after we drove the piles, and put soil nails in there, which had to be short because the property line was right behind that wall. So obviously all this would have been great to plan out by the excavation contractor, instead of going out there and just chiseling a big cut that, fit the geometry of the existing parameters or existing property lines in the work. You have to go in with a lot more thought, and sometimes, like in this case, you would have an excavation support system. So here we are shotcreting, and you can see it's a ready mix concrete that just came in. The shotcrete, really, it's pumped in our little pump truck, and then you add air, and then it sprays. It's really spraying a fine aggregate cement mix. And here we are drilling the soil nails. You can see we got all the face lined. And the other thing that made us feel pretty comfortable about, after we got that initial layer on, about working kind of more intimate with against the wall, is that the wall had stood up for like 2 months or something on its own. So it clearly had something there that, fortunately for the owner, that kept it from just unraveling immediately after they excavated it. And it even survived the wet September, which was like almost one of the top rain months for September in recorded history. So there was a lot of rain on it, and that was before they even covered it. They didn't have it covered when we showed up at the end of September or October. They were mixing grout with the old paddle mixer. That's for the soil nails. And let's see, here's the house. You can see they're putting the rebar mesh up there. Soil nails are in. And then they're shotcreting. The final layer. And there's the view from the lift, the man lift. And you can see the extent of the work all the way from the building on the left to tie in the corner there where we get an open cut with slopes that are the 1.5 to 1. And then around the corners where it gets steeper, and then you see the tiebacks in there and the shotcreting operation going on. They're setting up reinforcing mesh, and it came out like shown on the next picture. There we go. You can see that it gives a pretty robust forming right on the face. So there, you know, we didn't have to, one of the advantages of shotcrete, what we wanted to do is just take advantage of the existing slope that's stable, kind of for the interim, maybe not, might be an imminent kind of condition that'll just eventually just kind of erode or fail downward. But we had a condition that had proven itself to stand up for a while. So just use that face for the final slope. That way we didn't have to excavate, because of course if we excavate more, just steepen it. And we didn't want, it wasn't practical to fill and then do this work, because it's not, you have to have a good stable face to do the work on. There's the other side against the other building. Actually, let me just shoot up to the previous picture there. You can see, get a sense of where that building was and how steep. You see how it's not quite vertical, it was nearly vertical on that first 6-8 feet or 6 feet or so. And then it's hard to tell. It doesn't look as steep as it is in the picture, but you can tell that that house is right there. So that's what I got for the project. This one here, this pile load test on the photo archives was from 237 Winooski Avenue. That was a former Dairy Queen site, which is now a mixed-use apartment. It's got a retail space on the bottom. They also have an underground parking garage like this one. And that was 2014. What's interesting and unique about this project too is that it's in the same kind of soil conditions. So we were installing piles in that job, and that was through the ash fills, and we were doing a load test. So pretty cool. We got a couple like 100-ton jacks, I think they're pushing on a pile with a reaction frame above and a lot of instrumentation and monitoring to monitor load and monitor deflection. So that's what I got. I'll turn it back over to you. Oh, there is one more thing I forgot to mention. Next week, there's an AGC meeting, that's Associated General Contractors meeting in Vermont. And we're being recognized for getting an award, the Best Builders Award, for the project is the Greenway, the Burlington Greenway, or the Bike Path project. Remember, there was multiple contracts that we did over the past several years. I actually started in 2014, kind of wrapped up early this year. So we're being recognized for that. So if anyone wants to go to the dinner meeting, it's Wednesday night, 4 o'clock, 4 to 6. I probably didn't get to everybody to ask who had involvement in the project. So if you're interested, give me a call, send me an email or whatever. It's 4 p.m. is happy hour to 6, and then dinner after that. That's Wednesday the 7th. So if you have an interest, I'd certainly love to see you there. Okay, Matt, take it over.
Yeah, thanks, Ken. I just quickly put this photo on. I forgot to send you last night, but there's us.
Oh, okay, yeah, there they are. Yep.
That was this week, just a couple days ago.
Yep.
Yeah.
Nice.
All right, so let's work safe today. Should be a decent day. Little up mid 30s. So let's have a really productive and safe day, and let's work together as a team. And let's let me know if you watch in a group setting for attendance, and have a great day.
Okay, take care.